I want to show you how to turn up to a client session without a prep. Use your intuition, scrap the 20 techniques that you think that you need to get a breakthrough with your hypnosis clients. So how do I turn up to a client session? Sometimes I turn up after I've just had breakfast. Sometimes I've just jumped from another call straight into the session. I just pour myself a glass of water. I turn up like a minute early. I check my internet stable, and I check that my laptop is charged, and that's it. And this is what you can do. You don't need to be preparing for an hour and a half. You don't need to be thinking about that session the whole day. Like, you're having a session at 11 a.m. and you start like preparing for it at like 9 because you need to write a script. You need to like make sure all of your paperwork in order, like you've got everything in front of you. You don't need any of that. You don't need literally no prep whatsoever with advanced conversational hypnosis. And how do I remember what tools to use? Do I not just like flick through the tools before the session just so that I know that which tools there are available to me, that I remember everything? No, there are literally, as I've said numerous times by now, there are literally no tools, no techniques that you need to remember. It's pure knowledge of therapeutical principles, of knowing how to actually use them, and of knowing how to read your client's body language, voice, intonation, the eyes, everything that your client gives to you during the session. That's the skill that I teach in advanced conversational hypnosis, to make sure that your clients get the best and fastest breakthroughs ever. It's nothing to do with techniques. It's nothing to do with scripts preparation, giving them homework. It's to do with knowing what to read, how to read it, how to utilize it. And by read, I mean how to read your clients, right? And that's the difference between the techniques and between knowing the techniques and knowing the method, knowing the therapeutical principles. Is, for example, when your client comes to you and something unexpected happens during the session that literally no technique covers it. What do you do then? So if you only have these tools available to you, how do you know, where do you take your client when something happens that none of the tools actually cover that what is happening in the session? What do you do then? So with advanced conversational hypnosis, you literally don't need to know no tools. You can read each client individually because you know the therapeutical principles. You have the skill. You know how to read them. You know what to do with what your client gives you. And that's that. So I remember when I was just starting with the ACH, I was using the traditional hypnosis, and I remember it was so overwhelming having to either remember all these tools or techniques, or have like millions pieces of paper around my laptop on my desk, and then flicking through them while in the session, looking for a right tool or technique during the session, and missing on all of them body language cues that your client was giving me. And because like I was only taught how to use the technique, I was only taught how to use the tool. I wasn't taught that, when the client actually starts gazing away, that is the unconscious moment, and that is something that you can utilize during your session. So let me give you a couple of examples of unconscious moments. So for example, you're in a session and your client starts laughing. And what is so funny about it? Because you're talking about a problem, you're talking about a serious matter. What are they laughing about? And why is this an unconscious moment? So that's a reaction that subconsciously your client is reacting to, maybe a question or to something that came to their mind that is pure unconscious information, or they are laughing at their own clashing realities. So, for example, if they want to lose weight, but they also want to keep eating tons of chocolate, they know that they need to change something around, their diet or their exercise or whatever. And they laugh at themselves because they realize that actually, I'm just being here like really silly because I kind of know what I need to do, but I'm not doing it. And basically, this is only one of the unconscious moments. So there's so much laughter in my sessions normally because clients just realizing things and start laughing. And what you can do when they start laughing, you can just ask the question, what's so funny about that? This is a serious matter. What's so funny about that? And then they'll have to explain. And while they explain that, they will realize actually, there's a little bit of an aha moment for them in that unconscious laughter. Or another example, like you ask your client a really, really good question and their eyes start flickering, right? Their eyes start flickering and they go into the zone of thinking. And most coaches or therapists, they will either then ask another question, hence interrupting that unconscious moment, or they will go for the tool and take their client to some sort of a healing pool or whatever visualization that they think would be good in that moment. But actually what you need to do in that moment, and this is what I teach in advanced conversational hypnosis, you need to amplify their unconscious moment. So when they're like flickering their eyes and start thinking like this a little bit, start thinking, flickering their eyes, you need to amplify that. You don't need to take them to a healing pool. You don't need to ask another question. You need to amplify this. And I will teach you how to do that, how to do process instructions when this happens to actually make sure your client unties whatever unconscious knot they've got in there, and that they get to the end of that thinking, to the end of that processing. This is just the tip of the iceberg, what could be happening in your sessions. And these examples are the unconscious moments, and when you learn how to amplify them, your client will be able to process and get these massive breakthroughs that I'm talking about. And this is the reason why you cannot possibly know what tool or script to use, because how can you script something that unconsciously comes up from a client during your session? And if you start using some tools while they're in an unconscious moment, you will just snap right out of that. Snap them right out of these unconscious moments. And this is when the main reason why your clients keep coming back with the same problem. So if you want to learn how to turn up to your sessions without preparation, how to feel relaxed, how to feel in the flow, and just use your intuition, you need to learn advanced conversational hypnosis. So we start in October, and if you want more details, if you want to sign up, just comment ACH or DM me and I'll send you the link to sign up.